Now, property investment. Now, I've made a few funny videos. You may have seen them and may not. Laughing and joking about investments and the stupid investments. I put a few on Instagram. You may not have seen them yet. That's just me taking the mick. Now, I see quite a lot, and I've been doing this for a long time. And I see it more so now than ever before, because when I first started, the internet didn't exist, let alone Instagram or Facebook or any form of social media. Social media didn't exist, the internet didn't exist. That was when I was in the beginning of when I was doing it. So if you had an opinion about something, you either told somebody or you didn't. Property investment is, now this is more of a serious note. So I see these people promising people the world, no investment down, no risk, not using any of your own money, rent to rent, Airbnb, and I'm looking at it all and well, if you can make that work, well, I guess that must be very good. Now, I'm guessing, and it's just my view, that a lot of these are people selling courses on how to do something. Now, not being funny, I've said it before in other videos, I'll say it again because it won't take more than 15 seconds. Find a house, make an offer, get it accepted, put down a deposit, get the mortgage, transfer it, get the keys, rent it out. Now, that's basically all you need to know. Now, I know it's a lot more involved in that. There's a lot more regulation now, way more than whenever I started, and that's fine, and I understand that. But that's the basis of it. That's the basis of it. Again, right? There's an example I've seen of, no names, no pack drill, because, well, first of all, I think it's just pretty damn unfair. But I've watched someone. I've been doing it for decades, and I've watched somebody else climb to the position that I've at within almost like 18 months, 2 years. You think, how in heaven's name did you do that? And I don't know how they did it. Well, I began to look into it, and I began to find out how they did it. And it was pretty easy, really, because they borrowed from non-FCA regulated people, and they borrowed at high interest rates. So if you're trying to find an interest rate and a mortgage and it's 4 or 5 or 5.8 or 6%, that's great. Now, what I couldn't, that was a bumpy road, wasn't it? Now, what I couldn't work out was that somebody had, that they were borrowing at 1.2%. You think, wow, that's fantastic. How did you get that? And then when I began to look into it, it was 1.2% per month. So it was this monstrous interest rate. They were, what is 1.2? About between 12, about 15%. Well, if you're on 15%, oh, people are going to lend money to you. Oh, they're going to lend money to you fast and quick. And I watched as this person or this organization ballooned, and they did it really quickly. And I looked at it, and they were well overspending on the property. They were well overspending on any work they were doing, and they were kind of rubbing people up the wrong way as well, and didn't care. And I watched as he absolutely grew really quickly, and then I watched as it all came tumbling down because he just overstretched himself, completely and utterly overstretched himself. It was clear as a bell for me when I began to see it, especially the amount of money that he was spending on the actual properties was way more than anybody should be spending. And I watched it all come down around their ears. That wasn't a particularly nice thing to watch. It's never nice. Famous British saying, isn't it? Everybody wants you to do well, just not better than them. But yeah, I think that was one example I watched of rather poor business acumen, especially in property. Now, some of the other social media things. So this is from a more, I mean, the other videos I've made have been quite funny, but this is from the perspective of being more serious now. Ooh, that's not good. From a more serious perspective, I'm watching people doing courses. Now, these courses that they're selling, I just don't know what they're selling, because, and some of them are really expensive. There is one particular guy or firm or organization, I don't know, no names, no pack drill, and it's £1,000 a month, and it's for 12 months. And you do this course, you pay this guy this £12,000, and then with this £12,000 you become some property czar that knows all there is to know about property. And in my view, I'm not sure, in my view, bearing in mind I've never watched it, so it's very unfair of me to say, but having said that, I'm not saying who it is. In my view, I don't think they actually teach you anything. They teach you the basics. You know how to make your way around a phone call to an estate agent, I guess. But what do they actually teach you other than take £12,000 from you for some course? And you don't, like in the other videos I've mentioned, you used to go to a hotel and you used to network with other people. Now you don't do that because you're sat in your own bedroom or living room on a computer. So you don't even network with people anymore. And you certainly can't network via Skype or some video call. That's rubbish. Again, from a more serious aspect, I see people withdrawing their money, and I've made other videos about this too, all tax-free, and it's not, but it is at that particular point. And they're taking their money out and they're buying other things, and people are saying you need to buy a number of assets in order to get your portfolio to run the life that you want to lead. Well, in my view, and I've been doing this a fair old time, here we are in a 7-year-old big old van. Now, I happen to love my cars, and so I do have one or two quite nice cars. But 99% of my time is spent in a truck and a van. And during the working day, 95% is spent in this van. And it's dirty. I do try my best to clean it. Sometimes I can't see out the window screen, it's so dirty, but I clean it and I clean it. And it's full of dings and dents. But people think that property investment is all about Lamborghinis and Dubai and United Arab Emirates, and in my view, it's not. That is a true Instagram approach. Is it a lie? I guess some people, if you've made it there. Other videos I've seen, the guy's living in Monaco, he's got 100 million. Well, I've been doing this a long time. I can assure you I do not have 100 million. But I'm also not asking you to send me money for a course that I don't know. I don't know what I teach you. I just have to say that same sentence over again about buying a house and renting it out over and over and over again. Work, I don't think that people understand the work that goes with it. And so you get this Instagram lifestyle. It's hot in here, I can't turn it down. Why is it not turning down? You get this Instagram lifestyle that shows you in a suit with your best trainers on, walking around a hat, or they've got a hard hat on. Well, I guess I've got a hard hat somewhere. And they're driving around in some fancy car. Well, that's great, but real property investment, I found, this is me, my experience, it's nothing like that at all. I'm up and down ladders in roofs, I'm clearing drains, I'm trying to contact a plumber to get the gas boiler working. I'm trying to, a vast majority of my time is logistics. I live in B&Q. Well, I'm trying to organize work all the time because the amount of maintenance, some people don't do very much maintenance, other people do. I do a lot because, one, I don't want any problems coming from either local authority or central authority or any accidents or anything like that. I don't want anything like that. And I found that the more money I spend on maintenance, the less involvement I get from external bodies, which is fantastic. And I don't want that. So I spend an awful lot on maintenance, and that keeps the tenant happy because the place is nice, they're happy, authorities, local and central, are happy, different governmental bodies are happy. Now, you don't make as much money as that and things. So I do have a couple of HMOs, houses in multiple occupation, HIMOs I used to call them. But, and it's a big but, we eventually moved away from that because the money was good, but it was very labor intensive. And so, and if you've got something planned with that, then that's great. And if you've got, say, 1 or 2 houses with 1 or 2 HMOs, 1 or 2 HIMOs, then that's great, and you can afford to do it. But as the organization gets bigger, you can't. Now, what we did is we went into single occupancy flats, houses, studios, and what that did was it freed up more time, but the amount of revenue went down. So you need to be aware of that. You're going to make more money with a house in multiple occupation than you are with a single residency. Considerably more money. The problem being it's considerably more time intensive. But the work aspect is very, very real. Now, I'm on my way right now to tile flare because I'm after some grout that is got microban in it or something like that, some anti-mold type of inhibitor in it, and it's 2 or 3 times as 3 times as expensive as it is in B&Q, and you only get a little bag, but you're spending 3 times as much money, but it's a superior product. Now, I'm not in a Lamborghini. There goes my phone. Interestingly enough, I have absolutely no idea who that was, so I can't be bothered to answer it. I'm not driving a Lamborghini, I'm not driving a Bentley, and I'm going to tile flare to get grout. Actually, I'm not going to get it, I think I'm going to order it, they don't have any. But what I'm trying to say is, property investment is a very long-term business. Yeah, unless you're flipping houses, in which case, again, you need to be really good at it, and people with that experience, they'll buy a house for, say, 100, I don't know where to, but further up in the country, certainly not in this city. You buy it for 100, you put 50 grand in it, sell it for 200 sometimes. Maybe that's like an ideal situation. Now, the problem is, a lot of the time, you put money into it, and you've made it more valuable, but you've made it more valuable because the market moved on and went up, not because you put value into it. Does that make sense? And so the market was going up anyway. You could have bought the house for 100, done nothing to it for 12 months and sold it for 130 anyway. Does that make sense? So property is a very long-term thing, a very long-term business, and it involves a lot of work. A lot of work. And will you be driving a Lamborghini? No, not for a very long time, unless you've been doing it for like years. Will you be sat at home in a suit directing people? Highly unlikely, no. Will you be me in a 7-year-old van going to tile flare to order some grout? Highly likely, yes. I'm here. Right now, I've just been to Tile Flare, and I've got that. That's just 3 bags of grout and 2. This is silicone grout. And looking at this, it cost. Oh, I haven't got this camera on a stick. That just cost me just over £100, and that would have been, looking at that, it would have been about would have been about £40 in B&Q, but it wouldn't have been the same stuff. I think this is interesting too, look, because I got this big old van, and I got the scratches. I'm missing a wheel hub. Actually, I know where that is. I'll put that back. And it's dirty, and obviously I got what I just bought, but wheelie bins, a load of gloves, it's a dirty old van. And if we look at my cabin space, not to mention him, of course, what I'm trying to say is, I'm a property developer, I'm a landlord, and this is what I drive during the working day 99% of the time. So I guess what I'm saying is, when you see people in Dubai, however you say it, my son told me I say it wrong. Well, there you are. Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and people are living in Monaco, and they're all multi-millionaires. The truth about property development is driving vans, being up ladders, clearing drains. Now, I'm sure you can make money hands off, Airbnb and all those sorts of things, but the equity in property, if you leave it there, you get a tax bill at the end that you got to pay. The capital gains, you just got to pay it. Now, you get that at the end of the day, but hopefully you'd have made some money anyway, so it's not so bad. And your repayment in property is at the end. It shouldn't really be at the beginning. And in the middle, maybe you could start getting maybe a nice car or maybe a new van. I'd like to get a new van. I'm driving around in this all day long. I'd like to get a new van. And it'll just be a van. It won't be a funny van. It'll be a van that I can carry a load of rubbish in. Wheelie bins. I can pick stuff up. I can get rid of scrap. I can do these things. And that's the truth of property development. Not walking around with the latest trainers or a suit, but walking around in a pair of boots and combat trousers because they're going to get torn and ripped. Now, rent to rent, this is an important one. I do have some rent to rent where I'm not in control of the rental of the property. I get a company to have taken it on, and they sort out whatever they want to do with it, and that's worked quite well. Now, what I have done, and I think I made a funny video about this, but this is a more serious aspect. I have had people contact me, and you can pretty much tell when they've been on one of these courses, because they don't really want to talk to you. They just want to, it's normally a message, not even an email, maybe just through one of the rental apps. They send you a message, oh yeah, would you do rent to rent? You think, well, now I'm actually not opposed to it, because in certain instances it can work quite well. It means that it means I get a guaranteed income that is lower than normal, so you're going to get less money. But having said that, I got no managerial issues other than maintenance. The maintenance issue is always mine, and I want it to remain mine too, because I want to know what's going on. So in the instance where I am doing rent to rent, the people that I'm working with are very professional. Changing lanes here, sorry about that. They're very professional. Now, I'm not saying that people that have been on these courses aren't professional, but there are different levels of professionalism. And so in certain instances where someone, and so these courses that you're seeing, oh yeah, go to a landlord, get his house, rent to rent, make £300, not your money. It can be done, but I'm not taking your risk for you. Now, that might be something to get you started in property development or property investment, but you're never really going to make the long-term equity unless you're prepared to start buying your own asset and watch your own asset gain in capital, thus capital gain tax, and watching your own asset increase in value. So the ones that normally last the distance, and I'd like to think I've lasted a fair old distance, are the ones that bought and never really took out the equity over the years. So if you continually remortgage like these influencers tell you to do, if you continually remortgage and leave no equity in any of your property, you're not really, it's not long term. It's not long term, it's more short to medium term, or trying to turn the place over. And I've heard of people buying houses and selling them within a couple of years because they just wanted their money back out. Well, that's great too, but that's certainly not the long-term property investment portfolio. It's not what I wanted, and it's I guess people in their 20s and 30s, they don't think about when they're going to be 60, because I didn't. And then one day you wake up and you are 60. That's always a funny old game. And you realize then that probably you're in a more nicer situation than other people. Well, of course you are, because they're just starting off and you're not. But I would, I got to go careful advising, haven't I? In my opinion, to not take money out of, to not release equity from your investment is the more long-term strategy for long-term wealth building. They don't tell you that. I'm telling you that now, but they don't tell you that. Airbnb. Now, I've looked at Airbnb, and I looked quite carefully at Airbnb, and we don't want to do it because it's labor intensive. Of all of the different types of rental, that's the one that takes most of your time. So if you're going to get somebody and they're going to rent your place for 2 or 3 days, and then you got to go in there, check it all, clean it all, take all the bedding off, and then you've got to look at their deposit and say, well, have they damaged anything? Have I got to paint a wall? Have they done something, released their bladder on the bed, and now you have to replace a mattress? So all these things, is there any hidden damage? Because people are pretty good at hiding stuff too. Oops, I broke this, I'll just place it back together, it will be fine. So you need to be looking at that. And I get caught out like that at my stage of development. That's good. So Airbnb was something I did consider, I did look at. I thought in this city it would be a poor game to go into, but a lot of people want 3 or 4 days, and it's normally contractors. They're doing, I don't know, say putting a new set of windows in, and say someone's parked. Putting a new set of windows in the city. They're from another city and they want 2 or 3 days overnight stay. That's great. And so there is a call for it, mostly anywhere, and in the city there is a call for it, but it's very, very labor intensive, and I'm already busy. So I also don't want to be doing someone's laundry and then checking someone in and out. And so you can subcontract that out, but then you've got somebody else's wages to do that, and then you've got cleaners' wages to do that, and we don't employ cleaners. So that's something that people say, yeah, Airbnb, the money's good, and so is the work. There's a lot of it. So I looked at it and I don't want to do it. And I looked at it again and still don't want to do it. We may have looked at it 4 or 5 times over, say, the last 10 years. And I mean really looked at it, not just give it a quick, we really looked at it, and I don't want to do it because it's so labor intensive. So I guess really I want to end this video, because I don't know how long this video is. I don't know how long it'll be edited down to, if I'll edit it down to much at all. I don't know. But the truth about property investment, portfolio building, it's not a quick game, and it's not easy, and it's certainly not glamorous. You saw I may have got another one about cutting a hedge. And you think, well, why did you make the video about cutting a hedge? Because you're doing somebody's work that you're not even paid to do. It's a pragmatic approach. And so property investment is a very pragmatic approach, and you have to have a lot of patience, and you've got to prepare to get your hands pretty damn dirty. I got wheelie bins in the back of this van that I'm going to be using in a minute. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm not wearing a suit, we're not driving a Bentley, I'm driving a van wearing rough work clothes, and that's every day. That's not, oh well, I do that twice a week and the rest. No, it's not. That's every day. So property investment is a slow, thorough, worked out game of hard work, stress, anxiety, or you'll get plenty of that too. And with that, you can build a portfolio with equity in it without having to go to a course, and without having to do all these no money down. Sometimes if it's too good to be true, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. It's hard work and it's slow. It's hard work and it's slow to build. That doesn't mean to say you shouldn't do it. As a matter of fact, that's more the reason to do it. The harder you work, the more gains that you'll make. So really, have patience, work hard, and bide your time. I'm sure it'll work out. This, I guess, again on a serious note, is more property development, property portfolio, property investment. We're building a small shower there. We're putting new floor in. I got to throw all this rubbish away. This is a brand new floor and I've messed it up. Now we are playing around a little bit, and we put these in like a herringbone, and it's taken a long time. But sometimes, in my view, it's good to have pride in your work. And when we put the skirting board in and everything and grout this in, it's going to look absolutely fantastic. But what I'm saying is, in property development, sorry mate, you got a lot of this. Look at this. Look at this. You know, I'm going to come here. I'm going to clear this all out now. A lot of this is going to go. Three toilets ready to go in. All the skirting ready to be painted. It's just work. And so when you see these people that are sat in on a jet ski on a beach somewhere, if you really want to build equity, it's doing this, wearing silly hats and having dogs in your cabin.